Hey guys, Ponce here to let you guys know about Ornn's ability reveal, which Riot just released, as well as discuss the kit that they actually show. Now, just to be clear, before we actually start that, he is not currently on the PBE. This is all we have to go off of. It's a little bit weird that they've done an ability reveal on Monday, and it's 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time currently at time of recording, and the PBE is still not down. A very slight chance he might get released later today, but that would be very weird. But Riot has done some weird things in the past with their schedule. But I would still expect him on Tuesday because Wednesday is the live patch, and they usually do PB patch the day before the live patch. So, but anyway, just to show you guys, let me alt-tab over to the client. It's still up. No notifications that it's going down or anything. So again, I suspect Tuesday. So if you're really interested in what's going on, you can follow the channel here and you'll get all the gameplay videos as soon as it's up, as well as you can follow me on Twitter and whatnot and see when I live stream the character, etc. Anyway, let's get into the kit here and see what he actually does. For those of you who want to check this out on your own and not listen to me give my opinion over the ability, you can go to the description as well, and there'll also be a link to the this reveal for yourselves. But anyway, this is his passive here. This is basically what makes the character unique by the looks of things. The rest of his kit is not too interesting, but the passive is kind of like, it seems to be sort of that character defining thing. So passive, Living Forge and Master Craftsman. Living Forge, Ornn can spend gold to forge items for himself anytime he's out of combat. For convenience, suggested items appear in special on-screen menu. On-screen. Ornn can also open the shop manually to build any item. Master Craftsman, Ornn and his teammates have access to special upgrades for select items in the shop. Each player is limited to one of these upgrades. So basically, well, let's just show what it looks like here for the hell of it. So according to what what's been said here and what other Riot things I've looked into, basically it means that you can build items in lane. You don't actually have to back to spend your gold. So I mean, that's convenient. It's actually quite potent. Like usually, for example, let's say you get first blood in lane really early and you didn't spend very much mana on it and you want to stay in lane. Because you don't have teleport or you don't want to waste teleport cooldown or whatever. A lot of the time, you get a big gold advantage in lane, but you don't actually get to really take advantage of it and sort of force your gold advantage on the enemy because you're sitting on a pile of gold. So basically, because unspent gold it's meaningless. This guy will actually be able to dump it into stats immediately if he wants to, by the looks of things. Also, this whole Master Craftsman thing where other teammates can get access to special upgraded versions of items. I looked into that a bit. According to a Riot post I saw, it's not all items in the game. There are only certain items that can be upgraded, and you can spend a support item will cost 500 to upgrade, but your standard big ticket items, like for example, one example they showed was, they didn't give any stats, but for example, Infinity Edge could be upgraded for 1,000 gold to just get an even stronger Infinity Edge. It's just buff stats. They don't have anything too weird or crazy, but it's raw number increases. Anyway, next, let's go to his Q. Ornn slams the ground. Let's pause this for a sec. Sending out a fissure that deals physical damage and slows enemies. After a small delay, a magma pillar forms at the target location, functioning like a tiny wall for a few seconds. So let's just maximize this. So basically, he shoots out this kind of line nuke thing that, with a small delay, creates a trundle pillar, essentially. A lot of his abilities seem to function around the concept of terrain and whatnot. But we'll get to that in a second. W, this is Bellows Breath. Apostrophe there. Anyway, Ornn becomes unstoppable, shields himself, and belches out flames. These flames deal a portion of the enemy's current health as magic damage. Enemies struck by the final gout of flame become brittle. Ornn's basic attacks knock back brittle targets. So they're going to explain here what brittle is. It's something, again, sort of unique to this champion. When brittle enemies suffer a portion of their maximum health as bonus damage... When brittle enemies suffer a portion of their maximum health as bonus damage when struck by immobilizing effects. Immobilizing effects also last longer when used on brittle enemies. So let's just show what the ability looks like here. We'll discuss what that means. So note that he can basically, since this ability is designed to be relatively self-contained, because it'll make targets brittle if the final gout of flame hits. And when targets are brittle, specifically, Ornn himself will knock people back. And knocking people back is considered a form of immobilization. So he will get the whole passive portion of the brittle thing by the looks of it. Because you can see the passive disappear when he uses it. So it's on her, then he goes to hit her, and then it's gone because he's knocking the person away. At least as far as I can tell. That's how I'm reading what's going on here on screen. Next, finally, or not finally, but his final normal ability is Searing Charge, the E. Ornn charges, dealing damage to enemies he passes through. If Ornn collides with terrain while charging, the impact creates a shockwave that deals damage and knocks up enemies. This ability destroys player-created terrain. As you can see there, let's just play it again because it's kind of fast. Slams into them, and then it'll knock people up if he also collides with terrain. A little bit Poppy-like in terms of how it functions. As far as I can tell, it should also work with his own pillar. So, for example, we see here he's going to put the pillar up behind the person. Theoretically, after the pillar's up there, he could slam forward into it. I don't see why it wouldn't work that way. And allegedly, it would also destroy it. As far as I can tell, in terms of the wording of other Riot posts I've seen, he will destroy allied player-created terrain as well. Like, this makes no distinction between enemy and ally. Because it's talking about how he functions with terrain. Now, it might mean he just actually slams into the terrain, but it's on some level he definitely does interact with ally-created terrain. For example, you have a Jarvan on your team, he'll interact with that in some fashion. I suspect he'll actually destroy it, but I can't be certain. Lastly, we have Call of the Forge God, his ult. Ornn summons a massive fire elemental at a target location. It then travels towards him with increasing speed. Let's just show this part off. He's going to summon it, send it. It actually comes from the opposite side and starts coming towards him like this. Enemies run over by the elemental take magic damage and become brittle. So it's applying that whole brittle thing again. Ornn can recast this ability to charge forward. If he strikes the elemental with the charge, he'll by charge they mean his E ability. You guys will see that in a second. He'll redirect it. The redirected elemental will then knock up all struck enemies, dealing the same damage as before and applying the brittle effect. So let's just maximize this here. And he's going to E right there. Watch this. Like so. Note that you can change the angle of this, which will come up in the next video we're about to show here. So playing as Ornn. They're going to do a little video here. They're just kind of fighting. So he screwed up the direction of his ult, or rather he moved. But then he hit him with it. So yeah, it looks like Ornn was getting multiple brittle procs, which ended up doing a lot of damage there, knocking people into walls. Alright, so it was actually a pretty uneventful fight at the end there. But anyway, looks quite tanky, or that's the general idea. Given that he's designated as a Vanguard, which is... Vanguards tend to be like very defensive tanks. I think the distinction was Vanguards are defensive and... Wait, no. I got my terminology mixed up. Wardens are the... No, Vanguards are the offensive tanks, and Wardens are the defensive ones, I think. That makes sense in terms of the... But anyway, he is a Vanguard. He's a tank. We'll see how this all ends up working out. Again, he is not currently at PB. Let's just double check. Yep, no PB. He is still up. Again, I suspect tomorrow. But Riot is known to fuck with my my schedule on a regular basis. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned to the channel. Like I said, here on Twitch, not Twitch TV, here on the YouTube channel. I'll have the gameplay footage, etc. All kinds of weird interactions, how his passive works, all that sort of stuff. As soon as it is available. It doesn't look like the most unique champion in the universe. His passive is kind of neat. We'll see how it all plays out. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Ponce_LOL. Also available in the link if you're description below if you're interested, because I'll be posting out tweets and stuff when he's available, and I'll have gameplay footage, etc., etc. So yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope Hope you have fun with this new champion when he's out. Should be interesting to get some more new content here on my end as well. Goodbye.